anytime we open the wallet and bring the best players from all the smaller teams in, I feel a little guilty. But
people like to complain about that, but a lot of teams spend more than you and don't have the same
I know.
amount
That's
of
why
success.
I always tell Josh, every time Josh is like, City's so evil, I'm like, y'all are right behind us, bro.
Yeah.
Spending wise.
Welcome to a new episode of My Mom Calls It Soccer, the football podcast for people who call it soccer. My name's Michelle, and I am a Liverpool fan.
I'm Chase. I call it football, and I'm a Barca fan.
And I'm Grandma, and I'm a Real Madrid fan.
Today, we are having a watch-along for the Liverpool versus Man City game here at Springfield Bruco in our hometown. We're going to have a special guest on that we'll interview at halftime. We'll check in with him. He is a newer fan to the sport, has chosen Man City as his team, and we'll check in at halftime, see how the game is going, and we'll learn more about how he became a football fan and kind of his journey, which we hope will help other new fans get into the game. Before we kick that off, we're going to do something we've been doing and give you all some reasons why, if you're not watching soccer/football now, you should start to get you ready for the World Cup. So, Chase, what's your reason that people ought to start watching?
The tournament plays a lot different from tournament plays that we're used to.
Okay.
So like the playoffs in the NFL or the playoffs in the NBA, where it's like based off of 7-game series and stuff like that, where in football it's, group play, then you go to maybe the round of 32, round of 16, and then quarterfinals, semifinals. And they could either be based off of 2 legs, where it's both home and away games, or just one leg where it's an elimination game. I think it's interesting.
So that soccer format of how they do tournaments carries over into the World Cup.
Yeah.
So they start out in group phase and then they move to the knockout rounds. Is that correct?
Yep.
So, okay, that's a great reason. Grandma, what about you?
Well, if you appreciate great athleticism and also stamina, then this is a game for you to watch, because the players run up and down the pitch for 45 plus minutes, take a short break, and then they do it all again for another 45 plus minutes. And it doesn't hurt that they're all pretty good looking too, including the coaches.
She's not wrong.
Okay.
That's a pretty good reason. My reason's kind of related to that, which is you need to start practicing for the fact that there are no timeouts in soccer/football. So when you get ready to go to a World Cup party or watch the World Cup at home with your family, you need to be prepared for the fact that when the game starts, you are there and you're going to watch the entirety of the first half. You're going to get a break at halftime, and then you're going to watch the second half. So it's not like that we're filming this the day of the Super Bowl. It's not like the Super Bowl where there's going to be commercial, and that's a big deal in the Super Bowl, are all of the commercial spots. They don't have that in football. And so go ahead and start watching now so you're ready, and so you aren't taking breaks that you aren't going to be able to take during the World Cup. Now it's time for one of our favorite segments that we think will help get new fans into the game, where we really dip into the reality TV side of soccer/football, called Messi on the Pitch. And today we're going to talk about the 2 teams that we're getting ready to watch, Liverpool and Man City. And their rivalry is not a long-standing, historical, deeply political rivalry. It's more of a new era, newfound rivalry, but it's messy and it is interesting, isn't it? And so Chase is going to give us 3 different incidents that have happened with Liverpool and Man City. Grandma's going to rank those for us on our Messi meter, and then we're going to decide at the end just how messy is this rivalry.
Okay. So this rivalry back in 2017 all the way through 2021 used to be called CityPool, because both Man City and Liverpool were always in the title race for the Premier League, and it would always be decided on 1 to 2 point margins. A big scandal in this CityPool rivalry was when Raheem Sterling left to join Man City. So Raheem Sterling climbed through the ranks of the academy in Liverpool, and he got the start in the Premier League pretty young, around 17 to 18.
Okay.
And he was kind of seen as maybe a new hero, a guy who came out from the academy, kind of like how Trent was,
Right.
to kind of because Liverpool weren't good at this time, like a guy who can save the club.
Okay.
And then in 2015, he goes on and joins Man City, a club that is on the rise, and the club that the season before won the Premier League.
Oh,
So-
okay.
A real slap in the face.
Yeah.
So very controversial with Liverpool fans then, having somebody that they trained and brought up through their ranks leave them and go to a team that was becoming a steady powerhouse.
Yes.
All right, Grandma, 1 to 10, how messy is that?
Oh, I'd say that's at least a 6.
Okay. So that's our first story. Our second instance between Man City and Liverpool.
So it's still on Raheem Sterling, but he got into a fight with a Liverpool player in Joe Gomez. I think
Okay.
it was in the England squad. But they already had a pretty tight beef before.
Okay.
There was a scandal in one of the games. They got into a little bit of an argument between the two, and I think it broke out into a fight in the England squad.
Okay, so they were both on the national squad,
Yeah.
on the England team, and then so because they had this beef between themselves in their club play, then they, even though they were teammates on the England team, they got into it
Yeah.
there. And I wonder how much that happens with like these national
It
teams.
doesn't happen a lot. Usually the England national team throughout its history gets the players all as like one team.
Okay.
Like Wayne Rooney and Gerrard, who was a Liverpool and Man United player, they got together pretty well. Fun fact, Wayne Rooney is a Scouser, so him playing for Man United was
a big deal.
Yeah, pretty big deal. But like they always got along.
They put that behind them for.
Yeah.
So
The
this
issue-
Raheem
the issue
Sterling
in
seems like an
England-
issue.
Yeah, the issue in England was that there was too many egos, and maybe
Okay.
that's what happened for the England national team as well.
Sounds familiar. Too many egos.
Too many egos. So, Grandma, the Raheem Sterling versus Joe Gomez, letting that beef spill over to the national team, where do you rank that on the mess meter?
Oh, I got to say 8 anyway. Yeah, you don't want to mess with the national level.
No,
It's-
no. Don't let that drama spill over.
Right.
Okay, Chase, so what is the third thing that causes conflict between City and Liverpool?
So Liverpool and City came up as a big six club a lot differently.
Okay.
Liverpool is a historically, traditionally big six club. They had it over getting academy players from Liverpool and dominating in the Champions League and the Premier League. And that's where they got 18 league titles before it was even called the Premier League.
Oh, wow.
And I think they might have won 3 to 4 UCLs at that time.
Okay.
I don't know if it was called something different. It was like European Championship or something like that.
Okay.
But Man City came up from basically oil money. They got bought out by Saudi owners in, I believe, like 2010 or something. And since that, they were on a huge rise to where after, like, almost immediately, they won the league in 2012.
Okay.
And then in 2014, they also won the league again. And then Pep Guardiola, who coached for Barcelona and Bayern, came over, and they've historically like spent a ton of money in the transfer windows. And so a huge fight between the two clubs would be tradition over like new upcomings,
Okay.
basically.
So kind of new money versus old,
Yeah, like
historic.
plastic versus tradition,
Okay.
basically, because Man City didn't become a good team the traditional way. Historically, they were like in the third division.
Okay. Does Man City have an academy?
Yes,
Okay.
they do.
But they weren't. It was
every
not.
football club
all
has an
te-
academy.
They all have
teams
it,
have
but it
one.
wasn't successful on its own until they started to pour a lot of money in.
It's successful now.
It is.
It's really good now.
But to get to that level, before they had that success,
They
they,
had
were
Saudi
buying
owners,
players.
yes.
Is that right?
yeah, they had Saudi owners,
Had
and
to
they were.
funnel a lot of money into it.
It's not just buying players, because every big club buys players,
Oh.
but they spent a lot of money for multiple players all the time. They had it.
Okay.
Historically, again, they've had a huge squad depth because of just how much they've spent on transfers. And now they're good signings as well. They're
Okay.
needed signings, but it's just so much money for these superstar players that they're kind
Okay.
of getting. But they all seem to fit.
Okay.
Some other teams, like Madrid do that, but it's not as successful. So
As what? So Man City has
some
done
people-
it and it's paid off.
yeah, some people are like, you can't be mad at it because like teams like Man United sometimes have even spent more in their transfer windows and haven't been as successful.
Okay.
So-
So they've done it and they've
They've
capitalized
known
on
the
it.
right format
And
to
so
use
Yeah.
you
going
could say
forward.
people are a little bit salty maybe because
Okay.
their club can't do it and their club isn't as efficient as doing it as well.
Okay.
But Liverpool, tradition, Man City, new upcoming by basically oil money.
Okay. So Grandma, mess meter.
Oh, I'm going to have to go with a 10 on that one, I think. When you're talking big money and oil and Saudi and
All the things.
That's pretty darn messy.
Okay, so this rivalry between Liverpool and Man City, not a long-standing rivalry, fairly new, but what do you give it as an overall mess meter score?
I would say an 8.
An 8.
An 8
Okay.
overall.
All
That's
right.
CityPool.
CityPool. I had
CityPool.
never heard that.
Yeah.
So I learned something.
Yeah.
All right. That's our Messi on the pitch. Now it's time for our Where in the World Cup segment, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. Instead of highlighting one of the teams that's going to be in the World Cup, we're going to make a plea to you. So we would love our fans, if you have lived in another country or you are from another country, we would love to have you help us with a Where in the World Cup segment. We've done that a couple of times, and for countries where we cannot find that, we will continue to do them, but we do feel like they are more meaningful and more authentic if we are able to have people participate who actually have a connection to the country. So drop us a comment and let us know if you're interested. We can interview you in person. We can interview you remotely, or you can film for us and send it to us. We don't care how you do it. We just would love to have your participation. All right, it is halftime of the Liverpool-Man City game, and it has been a riveting 0-0 in the first half.
So exciting.
There has been a lot of exciting things happen, but no score so far.
No score.
So we have some guests with us today. We have one of my favorite people I work with, who is a Man City fan, Jason Nunn,
Hi.
and then his friend, Haley Frizzell Green, who is a Liverpool fan.
Yes.
And I'm super jealous. She is wearing the teal third kit that I want so bad, and I have not bought.
You should just get it.
I know.
This is
right?
your sign.
Yes, exactly. This is my sign to go ahead and buy it. So we're touching base. Jason is a newer fan to the game.
Yep.
So if I understand correctly, you were in England.
Yeah, so Haley and her husband Josh and me and my wife and some other friends went to England a couple years ago, and Josh is a huge Liverpool fan. Josh and Haley are Liverpool fans, and so we went to Anfield. And I love sports, didn't know anything about soccer at all, but Josh was like, you'll appreciate the history and the fandom and the architecture and all that stuff. So we went to Anfield, and it was clear that everyone was so passionate about it, all the lore and the songs and all that stuff. And so I was like, okay, like maybe, I mean, there's a reason why this is like the most famous sport in the world for everybody but Americans.
Yes.
So yeah, decided that I would give it a try.
So you went to Anfield with some of your best friends, and you toured that historic stadium, and you decided to be a Man City fan.
So I'm a huge Oasis fan.
Okay.
And the Gallagher brothers are from Manchester, and they are
Okay.
longtime City fans. So I knew about City just from them. I knew nothing about the team, but when I decided that I was going to start watching soccer, I was like, okay, I'll be a City fan.
And I'm totally teasing you because in our matchup that we do, we literally match people up with who we think is a great team. We don't just say, hey, your best friend is a fan of this team, so you should be. So
Yeah,
I'm
right.
just giving you a hard time. Haley, what about you? Were you a fan before you met your husband, or?
No. No, and he wasn't always a diehard soccer fan either, but he just really got into it, I think maybe after watching a couple games. And then, it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, your dad's a Dallas Cowboys fan, so then you're somehow a Dallas Cowboys fan. So it just kind of became one of that, like how you just mentioned, because your best friend is a fan, you should be a fan.
Which is totally okay as well.
Yeah.
We're all about increasing the fandom, so we don't
Uh-huh.
care how you get there.
Yeah.
We're just glad you're there.
Yeah, no, and it's like interest by, osmosis, basically. He would always have it on.
Yes.
So then I was just really, it's a great game to watch, regardless of who's playing who. And then, the appreciation grew when we went to England and we toured that stadium.
Yes.
So,
So, do you have plans to go back to England and catch a Man City game?
I really want to. We have an 8-month-old child, so I don't know.
Who is also here and adorable.
He's here.
So.
He's asleep right over there right now. But yeah, I would love to go to the Etihad and see a match. Our 10-year anniversary of marriage is summer after next.
Okay.
So there are talks of another England trip, maybe, and we'll go to Manchester then. So
And maybe
we'll
you'll
see.
take your friends to
Maybe we'll take Josh and Haley,
Manchester.
force them to watch a City game at Etihad. Yeah, it'll be awesome.
So, my next question is, after getting in, and so you both have club teams that you're watching, has that spilled into, with the World Cup coming up, are there any teams that you're interested in based on like players that you watch on your club teams, or are you just watching for the U.S., or what are your thoughts on that?
I have, for whatever reason, always been sort of an England person.
Okay.
When I'm watching world things, I don't really know why there's not a lot of City players that play for England other than Gahey, which we just got. But yeah, I watch England games
And
for
that's kind
whatever
of your
reason,
team.
and they'll be in Kansas City, so that's exciting.
Yes, that's going to be their base camp. That's exciting. Haley, what about you?
Probably the same, just because that's what I'm most used to watching.
Sure.
I'm not a huge follower in the the grand scheme of things. So probably basically what Jason said. Yeah.
And I think for a lot of us that are kind of in that boat, having the World Cup here will give us so much more exposure to teams that will all become fans or have favorites that we don't even know about yet. Chase, what questions do you have for them?
How do you feel about your 2 new signings in the January transfer window?
I'm pretty excited. I mean, I knew Gahey from watching England, and I had seen him play for Palace as well. And yeah, he's awesome. He's been great.
Having a really good game today.
Yeah.
Against us.
and Semenyo has been killer in his first 5 or 6 games or however many. So I'm stoked. Yeah, I mean, anytime we open the wallet and bring the best players from all the smaller teams in, I feel a little guilty. But
People like to complain about that, but a lot of teams spend more than you and don't have the same
yeah, I know.
amount
That's
of
what I
success.
always tell Josh. Every time Josh is like, City's so evil. I'm like, y'all are right behind us, bro.
Yeah.
Spending wise.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Haley, do you have a favorite player on Liverpool?
I think my favorite player is probably Alison Becker. Being a goalie is hard work.
Yes.
And so I don't think they get enough appreciation sometimes. So yeah, he's probably my
and
favorite.
he's a really good
and
one.
he's a great goalie. Yes.
He's really good, and you'll get to see him play for Brazil in the
Yeah,
World Cup.
yeah,
and
that's true.
they might. I mean, they're a strong team always, so hopefully they'll make a long run.
Yeah.
I really like him a lot too. I have. I'm a newer Liverpool fan, so about a little over a year in, and so I love Mo Salah. I love Gravenberch, but I really love Ekitike. I'm so excited that he's there, and I never know what color his hair is going to be. So I love that.
I know. I was surprised to see him today with that blonde hair.
Super blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chase, do you have any questions for Haley on Liverpool, or?
Nothing too technical, please.
I would say, what are your thoughts on Liverpool's performance this season?
Oh gosh. I think they could be better, but that could be because last season they were so good, obviously. I would like to see them improve a little bit more, maybe on teamwork, but otherwise I think they're doing okay.
Where do you think they'll finish in the Premier League?
Oh gosh. That's a good
Sorry.
question.
I think we're currently sitting in
Sixth.
sixth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, pie in the sky, they'd somehow get up there again, but maybe bump up a couple, like fourth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want him to
aim
make
high.
European play, so I'd like him to be in the
Which
Champions
is now
League.
top 5. So
Yeah, Nick was telling me that. I didn't realize
I didn't
that.
know that
So
either.
Yeah.
yes.
So I wondered if you watch Liverpool play in Champions League.
Yeah, not as much as we do Premier League. Josh, my husband, will obviously watch more than me, most likely. But yeah, no, not as much.
Well, they did make it to the top 8, and they have a bye the next round. And the team I root for went from 3rd to 9th. So
Anything's
And she's not bitter at all about the fact that Madrid
Not at all.
lost that game to Benfica. So
yes, Benfica,
Yeah.
who then made it in at number 24.
yes. It was a big game. It was fun. I think Champions League is harder to watch as well, just because it's during the week and they're during the day. So
Right.
it's just a little bit harder for people to watch.
Yeah.
So I watch on my phone at work. Don't tell anybody.
I think to me,
I do that also.
I think Champions League is like the sickest of all of them because it's like all the best teams
Yes.
from all the leagues. So like it's the most, you have the most swag if you're winning in the
Yes.
Champions League.
So
in my
last year,
opinion.
I struggled to understand what it was. I mean, honestly, Chase would just be like, you're making this so hard. And so this year I do understand it better. And then I was trying to explain it to my friend Carol, who is, I have brought on as a Liverpool fan. But once you do get it and understand, it is super exciting. I mean, it is. It's the best of the best playing against each other, and it's fun to
Yeah.
watch that.
Yeah, it's so awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Any advice you have for somebody who might be watching this who hasn't connected with a team yet? Why should they do it? Both of you, just what have you gained? What do you like about being new and getting into soccer/football?
I would say just pick a team and dive in, and you'll figure it out. Like, and if you've got a buddy who knows what they're talking about, hang out with them and ask questions. Because Haley's husband Josh, I mean, I was just like, hey, dude, what is offsides?
Yes.
Like, I just
Yes.
the simplest soccer rules or whatever
Yeah.
were so foreign to me. So having someone that can explain a little bit of what's going on, and it's just fun to learn the nuances of the teams and kind of how the league works, and like even the business side of it has been really fun to sort of learn the loans and
Yes.
buying players, and it's different than any other sport rule wise
Yes.
that I found. So
Yeah.
just dive in and ask questions.
Yep. What about you, Haley?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Just ask as many questions as you can, because the rules and most likely the answers are universal, but the teams are what makes it different. And it's all what you're interested in. So like he had mentioned the history of Anfield, and the history of Liverpool was really interesting to me.
Yeah.
But also management. I was a huge Klopp fan.
Yes.
So, and like his legacy too was kind of important to me.
Yes.
So yeah, just little things like that.
Yeah, find something that you connect with,
yeah.
and just get in. And I think both of you have said something which is important, which is watching with other people makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And it is a great way to connect with your friends and other people. But watching a game with someone who knows what they're watching just helps, because they can explain so many things to you. That's what Chase's job is all the time, is to explain to his mom and his grandma what is happening. So
She always asks the nationality of players.
yeah, I do. I want to know
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
country are they from, and I want to understand all of that. It just
Yep.
so
And
much
we
fun.
should mention where people can come watch a game with us next week.
Yes, so next week, if you are local, we will be filming and watching at Mumbles 1888, which is a new soccer football pub here in our hometown on Commercial Street, and we're super excited about that. So, and again, if you don't know anybody, just show up and watch. Most people, I think, are happy to have a new fan sit by them and tell them, and they'll try to talk you into being a fan of their team. So they'll try to recruit you.
Yeah.
So, anything else you guys want to say before we go?
I don't think so.
Go City.
We're going to go watch the second half. We're going to see what happens. And so thank you, Jason and Haley, for taking some time with us. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see y'all next time. Now it's time for our favorite Man United fans
We're pretty happy.
who are pretty happy today because they won yesterday.
Yes.
They're going to give us their segment. Wait, that's a rule?
Hi, I'm Emily,
I'm Nick.
and we're back for Wait, That's a Rule. And today we're going to talk about a rule that kind of came up at the end of the Man City Liverpool game today. It was at the, what minute?
97th minute?
An extra time.
98th minute?
Do you want to kind of explain
Yeah.
what happened? It was chaos.
Yeah. So the ultimate call was a red card for denial of an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Yes.
Which is one we discussed a few weeks ago.
Right.
It was sort of confusing though because of how it happened.
Right.
Really interesting circumstance in that Ryan Cherky kicked the ball from midfield and it was kind of slowly rolling towards goal. And
And there was no goalkeeper there.
there's no goalkeeper there because Allison had gone forward to try to, score the equalizer for Liverpool. Because there was no goalkeeper, you had two players, Dominic Szoboszlai and Erling Haaland, running back to well, one was trying to stop the goal, one was
Right.
trying to score the goal.
Of course.
And the initial result was both of them kind of tugging on each other's shirts,
Right.
and the ball rolling into the net. At the end, you see Dominic Soboslai throwing up his hands, like, what's going on? Like, why he fouled me, kept me from stopping the goal.
Yeah.
And Holland was like, well, he was tugging on my shirt. On-field decision from the referee was a goal. I think he did that just to allow VAR to go in and look at it and see
Right.
from their better camera angles what really happened. What VAR found was that Soboslai pulled on Holland's shirt
Yes.
outside the box.
Okay.
So this was before he got into the penalty area. He pulled on his shirt and prevented him from getting to the ball. Then Erling Haaland did the same thing. He tugged back. And so at that point, after Haaland tugs Soboslai, the
Yeah.
ball rolls into the net. So again, initial decision, goal. The VAR check pulled it back to the first foul, which was Liverpool's player fouling Manchester City's player. Because Manchester City's player was the one who was, in on goal, about to score a goal, and that was the first foul, that was denying an obvious goal scoring opportunity.
Okay. So it
the
just goes
foul-
back to the first call.
It goes back
Or
to the
first instance.
initial foul,
Okay.
which in this case was outside the box, so the result wasn't the penalty.
Right.
The goal was pulled back. There was a direct free kick from where Soboslai fouled Haaland, and Soboslai was sent off with a direct red card.
Okay. What happened after that, just, it doesn't matter anymore. Okay.
Yeah. And everything that happens after the point of the foul, which VAR calls it back to, doesn't count. So the goal didn't count. Haaland's foul on Soboslai didn't really matter because he had already been fouled himself.
Okay. That makes
So,
sense.
sort of confusing turn of events. I know that there was a lot of confusion for people watching. Even kind of the announcers were trying to figure out,
Yeah.
piece together what was happening real time.
It was chaotic.
One of those situations where I think they handled it correctly. The on-field referee gave the goal decision, sent it to VAR. VAR looked at it, step by step. Okay, what happened first? What happened second? What happened third? To determine where the original foul occurred and what the correct outcome should be. So I think they got this one right.
Okay. That's good to know.
Yep.
Thank you for explaining that.
Happy to help.
And thank you so much for watching. We'll be back for another segment of Wait, That's a Rule.
Have a great week.
Thank you, Nick and Emily, for giving us information on that so we can all continue to learn about the game. That's all we have for this week, and we will be back next week, and we look forward to seeing you all then. Thank you.